Morning, all. All right. So, news of the day video for all you fine people for Wednesday, February the 28th. There are two games tonight as well, so preview is thrown in with the news video to start the day off. Starting off with some exciting news for the Minnesota Wild. It's probably going to be some exciting news for the Minnesota Wild and for announcers everywhere, as Marat Kuznetsov is looking likely to sign with the Minnesota Wild. He's had his KHL contract terminated. In Sochi in the KHL, playing center, 49 games, 6 goals, 14 assists, 20 points. At least he's listed as a center on his profile. So if Dinov comes over and plays for Minnesota, that could be great because you're getting another player on an entry-level contract. He was the number 37 pick in 2020. He's seen as a pretty talented player. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see where he slots in, and it means that, having been drafted almost 4 years ago, he's also older than your usual rookie coming in, and this could be a very interesting addition for the Minnesota Wild. It could be fascinating. So yeah, let me know if you're a Wild fan, how you feel about Kuznetsov potentially coming over and signing with Minnesota. By the time this goes live, he could have already signed. It's possible. Because his contract appears, the termination's gone through, so he can sign in the NHL whenever he wants. Although, last I heard, there's no transfer agreement between the KHL and the NHL, so that opens a whole other can of worms we don't necessarily need to get into right now. But at the very least, Kuznetsov is going through things the way that you should, and make sure that you've not got contracts with both leagues going. So Gary Bettman yesterday doubled down on Winnipeg being a very good market and saying there's no danger of relocation. Also talking about the fact that there's lower attendance. And as I've mentioned before with Winnipeg, it's a smaller building. It is a small market. They don't have the corporate dollars that a New York or Toronto or even out here in Vancouver would have. So the attendance is really, really important to the bottom line. And ownership has been really careful too to say, look, we're not looking at relocating the team. This is just, long term. This wouldn't work. It's not going to be a profitable franchise if we don't have that attendance. So Bettman there, honestly, if anybody was expecting to say, well, that's it, we're going to have to pull up stakes and leave, he didn't. And has doubled down that Winnipeg is a great location. He says it's an awesome hockey market. He's not wrong there. And so honestly, for all the hate Bettman gets, we lost the Nordiques, we lost the Jets, we got the Jets back. I don't really see the Canada hate personally, but he's not relocating the Jets. He's not there to measure the place up so he can get the moving trucks in there. But again, I get why Jets fans get a little nervous about the idea of the NHL looking at that. And I think both Bettman and Winnipeg management / ownership understand why that nervousness is there too. Once a fan base has lost their team once, it's still going to be there. That hurt's still there for fans old enough to remember. Hampus Lindholm skated before practice for the Boston Bruins today, but he is not expected to play tomorrow. Boston, of course, has only won 3 of their last 10. They're definitely struggling. This is the worst regular season stretch they've had in probably 2 years, to be honest, because last year, of course, they never did have a downbeat during the season. So Boston's got to figure out what they're going to do with the trade deadline and how they're going to add and how they're going to beef things up. The trade deadline is in 9 days. I've got the Calgary Flames logo there because, again, every trade article I look at is saying that the Calgary Flames, they're holding up the trade market. So it is interesting. I don't know where Tanev goes. I don't know where Hanifin goes. But we are into that window now where we usually start to see some trades. We usually start to see that movement. It just hasn't happened yet. So anytime the Flames want to start making deals, we'll see. I do think Tanev probably goes. Hanifin probably goes. But again, I don't think they'll be full just sell-off sort of deals because Calgary is still in the hunt for a playoff spot. They still have every reason to think they could get that playoff spot. And you don't want to trade 2 of your better defensemen at that time and not get something back. So it will be interesting to see what the Flames decide to do because when you're in the hunt like that, I mean, you'd like to make the playoffs. I think it's been a while since we've seen a lot of upsets in the first round of the playoffs. It feels like this year could absolutely be the year we start seeing that again. I'm not basing that on the fact that teams I cheer for all would have home ice in the first round right now. I feel like this is a year that we could see some real, just crazy first round upsets and potentially beyond that as well. So we'll see how the trade deadline shapes up and then how all that goes down in April. So the Detroit Red Wings. The reason I'm wearing Red Wings is because now all the talk is maybe they're going to be buyers at the deadline. That's how quickly that can turn. Last year, Steve Yzerman pulled the plug on it, decided nope, this isn't the year. Now this year, with the Wings on a winning streak and they're within striking distance potentially of finishing third in that division, which is amazing because Toronto just had a 7-game winning streak snapped last night, but Detroit's on a 6-game winning streak of their own. So they could very well be buyers at the deadline. I mean, Patrick Kane's not getting younger. There's other players on the team, too. You might want to strike while the iron's hot. I think adding at the deadline could be a really bold strategy for Steve Yzerman, and I'm here for it. I have never wavered in my support for the Yzer plan. Luke Hughes. So Luke Hughes, who statistically has had a rougher time in the second half of the season than the first half, which again for a rookie that happens. The rookies will hit walls. They're not used to playing an 82-game schedule usually when they reach the National Hockey League level. But Luke Hughes last night topped his own fastest skating mark. So fastest defenseman in a game, I think 23.63 miles per hour. That's insane. So he did that last night against San Jose, and he makes it look so effortless. Luke Hughes' skating, his speed, his overall, and his puck sense as well, his zone exits, he's a very good defenseman. I understand there are mistakes that occurred in his game, but that's part and parcel of getting a defenseman as exciting as Luke Hughes. I think that once you get into about year 3 with Luke Hughes, we'll be talking about how he's one of the better defensemen in the NHL, and I think the offense will be there as well. One thing with New Jersey is, of course, they come out of that game last night against San Jose. They destroy the Sharks. They need to get on a winning streak. They haven't had a winning streak longer than 3 all season. They need to go on a winning streak if they're going to really push their way towards a playoff spot, which looks increasingly remote. But at least you've got Jack and Luke Hughes. A lot of reasons to think the future's pretty bright with the New Jersey Devils. All right, so we got 2 games tonight in the National Hockey League, one starting at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, and then one starting an hour and a half after that. So nicely spread out on a Wednesday night. So 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, we've got the Columbus Blue Jackets and the New York Rangers. This is the 4th and final meeting. Columbus has won 2 of the first 3, including just a couple days ago, ruining that 10-game winning streak of the New York Rangers. October 14th, Columbus wins 5-3. November the 12th, it was a 4-3 overtime win for the Rangers. February 25th, it was a 4-2 win for Columbus. The Blue Jackets, 19, 28, and 10 overall this season. They're 4-5-1 in their last 10. They're scoring 2.95 goals per game and allowing 3.67 goals against per game. They are 21 points out of the playoffs. Yep, 21 points behind the number 2 wildcard, Tampa Bay Lightning. Elvis is starting tonight. Merzlikins 11, 12, and 7 with a 902 save percentage. Tarasov 4, 7, and 2 with an 887 save percentage. On the Rangers side, they're 39, 17, and 3 overall. They're 9 and 1 in their last 10 games, scoring 3.32 goals per game and allowing 2.73 goals against per game. They are first in the Metro, 5 points clear of the Carolina Hurricanes. So winning tonight puts them back to 7 points ahead. Shesterkin, probably the starter since Quick played the last game. Igor, 25, 12, and 1 with a 909 save percentage. Quick, 13, 5, and 2 with a 916 save percentage. Those save percentages getting closer and closer to even. I would expect by the end of the year, Shesterkin's back to being the best in the save percentage amongst Rangers goaltenders. I don't know if Quick's drops below 916, but I would not be surprised to see Igor's just keep going up. He's playing quite well. Then at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific, we got the St. Louis Blues and the Edmonton Oilers. This is the second of 3 meetings. February 15th, St. Louis wins 6-3. The next meeting will be on April the 1st. St. Louis 30, 26 and 2 overall. They're 4 and 6 in their last 10. They're coming off a 4-2 loss last night in Winnipeg. They're scoring 2.88 goals per game. They're allowing 3.12 goals against per game, and they are in severe danger of falling out of the race altogether. They are 6 points back of the Nashville Predators. I would think Binnington starts tonight since Hofer started last night. Binnington 20, 16, and 2 overall. 909 save percentage. Hofer's 10 and 10 with a 911 save percentage. Again, I've been impressed with both goalies. I don't think goaltending's a problem for St. Louis, even in this losing streak they've been on. For the Oilers, they're 34, 20, and 2. They're 5-4-1 in their last 10 games. They're scoring 3.55 goals per game and allowing an even 3 goals against per game. They're 3 points back of Vegas, who of course won last night in Toronto. They're 2 points ahead of LA, who lost last night in Calgary. Skinner, 26-13-2. He will be the starter in this game. 903 save percentage for Skinner. That save percentage takes a little bit of a hit, of course, against Calgary. Pickard, 7-3 with a 905 save percentage. So for the Oilers, this is a chance for them to maybe jump on a team that's at the second half of back-to-backs. For the Blues, a chance to bounce back from a loss last night and pull within 4 points of a playoff spot, because otherwise their playoff odds just get longer and longer. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always, which includes your picks for tonight's games. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event that you haven't already done so. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.